Transformers issue number 1. That's right, folks. There is a lot to talk about with this book. A lot of behind the scenes things that are kind of interesting. For the past little while, I think it's been IDW that's been doing Transformers, and I think they're still doing it, right? I don't know. I think they are because they've been doing it for a while. But Robert Kirkman, that son of a bitch who just controls the comic book industry, got his grubby little hands on some properties that appeared in some movies recently that they want to cross over. So now Skybound has got the license to produce Transformers comic books and G.I. Joe comic books, which is kind of cool. And they're going to be in the same universe. It's also connected to another universe called Void Rivals. Now, if you read Void Rivals, it was like the first issue put out in this Energon Universe. That book showed us Jetfire in like a stasis somewhere, and he like wakes up and he heads back to Earth, and it's kind of interesting. And then Void Rivals, I have not been keeping up with. I think I'll go back and check it out now, but that was a really interesting first issue. And then Daniel Warren Johnson posted a picture of an Optimus Prime, and I went, oh shit. One of my favorite artists working in comics today is doing a Transformers book, and it's going to be connected to G.I. Joe and like the Void Rivals stuff. Okay, you got me hooked. I have not been somebody who has read a lot of the modern Transformers stuff. I read some of the classic stuff from like Marvel. So, I mean, I like the Transformers. Of that generational children's toy of the 80s, they're not my go-to, but I like them. I like this style of Transformer, so it's kind of exciting. It is pretty cool. So we open up this book. It's some classic Daniel Warren Johnson art. We see a ship in space, a boy that is dead. We see an Optimus Prime that looks dead, and then a rocket ship taking off into space. And then we cut to some bar where this kid named Spike is trying to get his dad out of a drunken stupor. He's like, can you wake up? Like, I've been looking for you all day. And some like asshole in the background shout about like, I saw this big jet come down from space. It was just crazy looking. His dad's being like, it's fine. I haven't been here long. It's not good. Just kind of upset with his kid. And Spike is trying to be like, Dad, you can't just bury yourself in this stuff. Like, you gotta, think about Jimmy and all that. And who's Jimmy? Well, it's his brother that died. We can, bury the lead on that one. It's kind of obvious. But before they can like really get into like the emotional beat of the conversation, somebody that works with his dad pulls him away because they're going to do like a night shift at the quarry. So we see that Sparky is kind of like the nickname for, Spike's dad. He's like, you have to grow up. He's like, what, and become you, Dad? Like, you're a drunken, like, asshole. Not very good. So Spike just kind of like walks away because his dad's driving off like an asshole. And he runs into Carly, who's his friend, and they're going to go look at the stars with a cool telescope. And she's got like a cool van of like Conan and a dragon painted on it. You're like, this is cool. This is some Daniel Warren Johnson stuff, but I am here for it 100%. So they drive to like an old mountain somewhere to look at the stars. They're getting set up like both of them are trying to do something more for their lives, doing extra shifts with like her dad so Carly can have a little extra money to go to school. Like, we're obviously going to build like a kinship between the two of them. And as they're like getting ready to like, do like the kissy thing like two friends always do, suddenly the ground beneath them rumbles and they fall like inside a cavern. And that is where they find that they are on like the hull of a spaceship. As they get deeper into it, they find the bodies of a bunch of dead robots. You're like, whoa, it's the Autobots. And they're destroyed. But is that like, Soundwave in there too? Oh shit. There's a bunch of them in there. And then suddenly, one of them blasts through, and it's Jetfire, and he's like, oh no, my friends, this is all bad, I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? I have to like wake up the comms and try to like give some Energon into one of them so somebody will wake up. And the person he wakes up is Starscream. And you're like, oh shit, Starscream is here. What's Starscream gonna do? Oh, this is a very, like, mixed, like, Jetfire, not sure what side he's on yet. And he's like, okay, like, I woke you up, Starscream, like, can we like stop this now? It's not good. What are we doing? Unaware of the war that is raging between the two parties, because when Starscream wakes up, he's like, thanks for waking me. I'm glad you finally picked a side. And he like shoots the head of Bumblebee almost clean off, and Jetfire's like, what are you doing? Like, no. He's like, no. It's like, oh, come on. You knew this was bound to happen, you stupid guy. You're like, come on, Jetfire, you finally picked a side. Jetfire's like, no, this is what I wanted. This is why I woke you. Like, what? No, this isn't right. What are you doing? And you see that Starscream's like, will you shut up? This is what has to be done. And then that is when Optimus Prime wakes up and just like grabs, I guess it's like the barrel of the gun that Starscream's going to use to kill Jetfire and just like bashes Starscream in the head. He's like, stop, what is that? And then it's just Optimus Prime like suplexes Starscream into the ground, and we're just having a great time. And that's when Optimus notices the kids in there, and he's like, what are you? He's like, are you primitive to this planet? Okay. And then just a fight breaks out. Starscream's going to get a blow in, and then Ratchet wakes up and starts kicking Starscream. And then Skywarp wakes up and he starts helping Starscream. It's like blah, blah, blah. Oh my goodness, there's so many names in here. Jetfire, Starscream, Skywarp. So many names coming up. Let's try to get through it. They need to get out of there because the Autobots are heavily outgunned. If they can get to Prime's trailer, they can like carry the bodies of all their friends and put them inside. And as like Prime goes for his gun, that is when Soundwave wakes up, and he's got a different color of lettering. Now, if anybody has followed this channel before, you know that Soundwave would be my favorite Transformer. He's got cool visor sunglasses on, and a little cat jumps out of his chest. And it's just the coolest thing in the world, and I dig it so much. So Ratchet is just throwing all of his friends into Prime's trailer. Prime sees that Bumblebee is literally killed. I wonder how that's going to play out in this new universe. Who's to say? It ain't looking good. And now Prime is outgunned. And now we release Ravage to go and attack Prime. Like, we're going to kill Prime. It's great. And that is when Spike gets Carly to help him. Like, we have to push this big gun closer to, like, this guy so he can shoot the cat. And that's going to, like, give him the advantage because Prime's clearly like the good guy. Even if you have no context for the war between the Autobots and Decepticons, if you look at Optimus Prime, you're instantly going to think, that's a good guy. Yep, I 100% believe it. Like, and the entire time we're looking at this, it's just the most fluid and unbelievably cool, boxy looking Daniel Warren Johnson art. Like, it is so great just to see, like, here's like a really messed up Prime in a weird pose, just shooting a gun, blasting at a bunch of people, and everything's exploding. And because everything's like so square and mechanical looking, it just feels so great. And there's so much more expression than you're realizing. It's so freaking cool. And then Ratchet's like, yo, I got everybody. Are we going? And that's when he just sees Prime running through like smoke and fire, holding on to the kids. And they manage to escape when they transform and roll out. They head out the side of the machine. They go onto a road nearby. And that's when Starscream and Skywarp start to chase them down. And it's just really cool. Like, it just looks so dynamic, and it looks like an 80s cartoon, and then Skywarp's like, I don't got the Energon to keep going. We can't keep going. They're going to kill you if you go alone, Starscream. We can't win this time. And it's the kind of thing where, like, later on when they're, like, regrouping, you see that Skywarp's like, this isn't what Megatron would have done, and Starscream's like, don't you say his name! I'm ruling the Decepticons, you dick! Very cool. I love it so much. So obviously Megatron's going to show up at some point. But the only characters we've met so far for the Decepticons are Soundwave, Starscream, and Skywarp, which is, I guess, makes sense. They're like the main ones that aren't Megatron, so that's kind of cool. We also have a scene where they escape into the quarry, the Autobots do, and then they find Jetfire, and he's like, I'm sorry, Prime, like, forgive me, I was sent on a mission and I failed it. I didn't find anything that's going to, like, sustain Cybertron. Everything we know is going to die, and then Jetfire dies. And it's issue 1, and at this point, Ravage is killed, Jetfire is killed, and Bumblebee is killed. And I have to ask the question, like, are they going to stay dead? Like, I know this is like a new continuity, but those are like 3 big enough names in the Transformers universe where you probably don't want to kill them in the first issue. So I don't know. I don't feel like they're dead. I feel like they'll come back at some sort of whatever. But it's hard to say at this point, right? I don't know. I kind of like it. So then at the end of the book, we cut back to Spike's dad and his friend Dave. He's like, I care about you, man. Like, I'm just going to be honest. Like, I know it's been rough and with everything that's happened with Jimmy, but you got to be there for your kid. Like, he needs you too. And as that's going on, Starscream just attacks like the plant they work at. He's like, I need power. I got to find some power here. And that's when you see Davey And Sparky trying to escape is like, oh, there's more of you little creatures here. Okay, well, that's weird. So fragile and so pathetic. And you just see that Starscream captures Davy and then crushes him in his hand and just like blood splatters. And that's where the book ends. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm invested. This is a straightforward universe. The characters are pretty clear. I didn't see like all of the Autobots that are going to be appearing in here. I think, was that Prowl or Wheeljack I saw in there? I saw one of those guys lying on the ground. I think Ratchet was dragging them in there, and probably RC because we got to get the girl in there. I'm not too sure who we're going to see though. But it's so cool. Like, it looks so great. It looks so impressive. Everything is really fun and fluid and intense, and it's just like a big war vibes, and I love that so much. And then later we're going to get like weird alien people showing up, and we're going to have like a Cobra Commander book coming out in January. Hell yeah. I'm here for it. Am I going to cover the Energon Universe? I don't know. Maybe. Don't make me. Don't make me want to, because I will. I'll definitely be covering the Transformers book. As long as there is a good viewership number, we'll cover it. But very interesting start to this book. I wonder how far we're going to go into this world. Really cool. So Transformers issue number 1. I am going to give an 8 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.